So my favorite part so far of the trip was going to Westminster Abbey. I went a couple days ago and it was just spectacular. You're in such a kind of a cavernous space, and the architecture is just so interesting. Like, my favorite part of it actually was the ceiling, because the way it all kind of weaves together, you can kind of look, and I spent all my time kind of like looking up at the ceiling, looking back and forth, and it gives you this really cool kind of view of it, because it all is kind of the same and repeats. And I don't know, it's hard to describe, and I couldn't really take a picture, but it was really phenomenal.
I've really enjoyed visiting all of the galleries. I've also really enjoyed all of the public transportation. I've never really used much public transportation before, so that was a new fun experience. There's also just a lot of camaraderie, and it's really fun.
Baker Street, because Sherlock Holmes is my favorite detective, and where else but in London can you go to the home of a fictional character? So that was cool. I also liked the ghost walk we took around St. Paul's Cathedral. That was really cool. Our tour guide was like, he was a real British thespian, so it wasn't just a tour, it was a performance and a history lesson all at once, and it was creepy and misty and perfect for the night.
The food, it's so amazing. We've had everything from curry to Lebanese food. We had falafels and shepherd's pie and fish and chips and mash, which are way better than American potatoes, even though we're from Idaho.
Running in Hyde Park, it is just a beautiful place. It's so green. There are parrots in the trees and old women feeding their pigeons and people with their dogs. And it's just a really natural, kind of relaxed part of London. And just the other day, I ran past the Peter Pan statue, and that was great. That has kind of just made up the London experience for me.
More than anything else, I'd love to just walk, just wander. We have a surprising amount of free time on this trip, discretionary time to spend however we want. And for me, just being able to walk with no particular destination in mind, just to see what's there. And of course in London, there's an endless amount to see. I always have my sketchbook with me so I can stop and sketch interesting things. Beautiful streets, beautiful people, fascinating buildings.
My favorite thing in London has been something that we've done every day, which is ride the tube. I love being able to do that by myself, and knowing that I can navigate the biggest city I've ever been to. London is huge, but the tube is really workable, and there's always friendly reminders to mind the gap. But I really like being able to get out my A through Z and map out my stations and know how to get where I want.
Everywhere you go, you're just surrounded by this amazing, grand, really opulent architecture, and it's incredible, where you actually get kind of desensitized to this architecture because it's everywhere. And even the more residential areas have a good charm.
So my favorite thing that we've done so far is the tour of the House of Parliament and Big Ben, because of how ornate it was and how beautiful it was, and I did not expect it to be so beautiful and interesting and so much history behind it.
I really enjoyed going to the British Museum and seeing the watch exhibit and actually getting to see the actual Rosetta Stone. It was really pretty awesome. That place was huge, like you couldn't get through it in a day. It was so great.
I really enjoy the saying that comes on every single time you get into the tube car, and it says, "Mind the gap," which is just so awesome to me, and it's hilarious, and I love hearing it every single time I get on the tube. So I enjoy the tube a lot. It's fun, so definitely ride the tube if you come to London. The end.